Most of the new approaches are based on previous ideas and theories of some psychologists, linguistics, and sociologists. Two of the most important for this approach, that is collaborative learning, were Piaget and Vygotsky. They both were psychologists. They talk about the relevance of social interaction in the learning process. Why? Because when you discuss your ideas and make questions about specific topics, it forces you to use your communicative skills. You have to use your speaking, listening, even writing to communicate with your partners. Collaborative learning focuses on learning process rather than the teaching of language. Collaborative involves working with one or more people together toward achieving a common goal. Students have to complete a task, problem solve, or create a new product. Constructivism serves as the foundation of the structure we call collaborative learning. At the core of the constructivism is the idea that we learn from our own experiences, that learning is active and we make meaning of the world around us through the senses and by asking questions. For that reason, questions are very important in this approach. Now we have 6 words that will help us to understand better the meaning of collaborative learning. The first one is active, because the role of the student is active. He has to involve and he has to participate in the classroom. The second one is group work, because it is not an individual process but a grouping process. The third one is questions, because questions are needed in this process when students develop his communicative skills. The fourth one is problem solving, because they work together to solve a problem. And the sixth one is common goal, because they have to work together to reach a common goal. And the last one is critical reflection, because when the students discuss their thoughts, they could get the knowledge that they need for the collaborative learning process. And that's all.
Now, I'm going to talk about some activities and techniques of collaborative learning. The first one is think per chart. It is based on that the teacher brings a question to the class and he gives a limit time to answer that question to the students. After that, the students need to discuss that answer with the partner next to them. The next one is Phillips 66. It consists in that the teacher chooses 6 specific students in the classroom and give them a specific topic. They just have 6 minutes to discuss that topic. The next activity is the role play. It is based on that the teacher gives a situation to the students and then they need to discuss this situation with their partners and think about how to perform this situation. The next one is the debates. The debates promotes critical thinking in the students. The idea in the debate is choose an interesting topic to discuss, divide the class in 2 groups. They have to create strong arguments, and then they have to choose an unspoken person to share those arguments with the class. And the last one is the round table. With the round table, you can practice all the communicative skills, and also the students can practice their speaking with the other students. Now, what are the materials of the collaborative learning? The materials of the collaborative learning can be developed during the class, such as scripts, such as arguments that the students build And also, sometimes the teacher brings to the class some questions or some roles that the students need to develop during the class.
Now I'm going to talk about the role of the student, the role of the teacher, and the role of the language. So the roles of the student are four. The first one is positive interdependence. It means that all the team members have to work together in order to fulfill the task. If any of the students fail, the others suffer the consequences. The second one is considerable interaction. It means that all the students need to help each other by explaining and sharing knowledge. The third one is the social skills. It means that the students need to develop self-trust, leadership, communication, decision making, and conflict management. And the last one is group self-evaluating. It means that students need to think what kind of things they are doing wrong in order to work on them and in the future work better. Now, the role of the teacher. So teacher must assume the leadership of the group and ensure that the purpose and the process of collaboration are clearly defined. Another one is that the teacher should design the students' groups and give them one or several assignments in order that they work together. And the last one is that the teacher is going to act as a facilitator or organizer between the groups and between students in order to, I don't know, in terms of questions and doubts about the topic of the day. Finally, we have the role of the language. So according to the teachers Jack Richards and Theodore Rutgers, they say that collaborative language learning seems to build that the students learn in an authentic way. It means that when the students are in a classroom, the idea is that they talk in English or that they have the possibility to communicate between them. It means they have to understand what the other person is trying to communicate. They have to understand what the student is listening, and in that way help between them and give feedback to their classmates.
Now we have some advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are, first, it has a positive effect on the students' learning when compared to individual or competitive conditions. The second one is students may explain things better to another student than a teacher to a class. Other one is students learn how to teach one another and explain material in their own words. Another one is that interpersonal and collaboration skills can be learned in a cooperative learning activity. And the last one is that it sends the message that the class is egalitarian and classist. On the other hand, we have some disadvantages. The first one is that a burden is making the students responsible for each other's learning apart from themselves. The second one is that some students become passive and do not focus on the task. The other one is it depends on an individual's motivation and interest on a particular subject that will determine how well they will learn. And the last one is that it is difficult for the teacher to be sure that the groups are discussing the academic content rather than something else.